This is probably one of the most important videos that I've ever made. And yeah, it's not clickbait. I'm getting rid of the truck. I've been living in this rig for a little over 2.5 years now, and I've been on the road for about a full year. And there's a lot that I've learned. As some of you guys know, at the beginning of this year, I was in a really dark place. When I was 19, I came into the opportunity to, well, basically buy a janitorial business. Some original owners who wanted to retire, and they were just looking for someone to take the business over and they could get a monthly check. I worked on building that business for 4 years, and I put everything into it. That business was my plan to pursue my dream, which was building a rig like this and living out of it full time. When I came into that business, it had a ton of room for improvement. And my entire plan was to pretty much dive into each system, like hiring, operations, those types of things, figure out a really good process for it, and then hand it off to someone else, and slowly work myself out of the business so I'd have the financial freedom and the time freedom to pursue what I'm doing now. It's what a lot of entrepreneurs do. They work on a project for 3 to 5 years, and then they want to get out of that and they want to start working on another project. And that was my plan, but it didn't work out that way. At the beginning of this year, I lost that business and everything that I worked for the last 4 years, just out of the blue. It pretty much happened overnight. Some of you guys already know the story on what happened with the janitorial business. My first video, it's called Jobless, Homeless, and Living in My Dream Rig. I explained how I lost the business and all that, but I was really close with the original owners of that company, as well as I brought a really close friend into my business. I'm talking my closest friend. What happened is that my friend and the original owners realized they had a significant amount they could gain by just simply cutting me out of, well, all the work that I did and the deal that I originally had with them, which, by the way, was to buy 90% of the company and leave 10% with the original owners until, well, they passed away, and then that 10% would come back to me. My friend went behind my back and offered to buy 70% of the company at its current value and leave them with 30%, which was just a significantly better deal for them. So one day I woke up and I found out that my best friend had done this and that the owners went ahead and did it. And all 4 years of the work that I had done, doing it for myself and my future, had been sold at a significant profit to my friend. I was left trying to figure out a lot of things. Not only what to do financially and what I was going to do with my life from a career aspect, but also everything that I thought that was real in my life was not real. My friendship wasn't real. The relationship I had with the previous owners wasn't real. I was at a lost and really lonely place. I was at one of those points where I looked forward to going to bed just because that was the only time I could escape from the feelings that I had. I just wanted to go to sleep and never wake up. I don't think I can express to you just how dark of a place I was in and how lost I was during that period of my life. There's been a couple of people who've said that I should get over this and not share this story anymore. I'm going to share it. And the reason is because I know what it feels like to be in such a dark place that you can't really comprehend it yourself, and you certainly can't explain it to other people. I really didn't care what happened to me. I didn't care if I lived or I died. And I know that that sounds really brutal, but that's the way that I felt. And I share this because I know that there's so many other people that don't know what they want to do with their lives. They've had some major thing happen. They've been screwed over. They've lost someone. We all have our own experiences like this, and it's a silent battle. That's why I share this, because my life has entirely changed from the beginning of this year. I feel like I've found my purpose. I've found my passions. I'm in a direction that I never thought that I'd be headed. To think that at the beginning of this year, I was fighting some demons. And even now that my life has completely changed, I still battle with this. There are still days where I think about it and I just get mad. I get upset. I get hateful. It's tough. These are things that take time to deal with. And a year later, I'm still dealing with it. The original owners did reach out to me and they gave me a very full and sincere apology. And I appreciate that from them. That's what's allowed me to get closure from most of this stuff in my past. My friend never did reach out. He did his thing and he went radio silent. I never heard from him again. I haven't gotten the closure. And as hard as it is to not get that closure, I have to find ways to move on. To those of you guys who are going through something like this, don't stop fighting. Now I'm on a path that I never thought I would ever be on, and I'm so much happier now. Then came the next video on this subject, which was called Pursuing Passion. When I first hit the road, I didn't know what I was going to do next, and I decided I was going to start another cleaning company, basically to try to win back everything that I had lost. And I remember when I made my first video sharing the ambulance with the world, I started to question if that was really the route that I needed to go. Then I got invited to put the ambulance on display for the Colorado Tiny House Festival. And it was there that I realized there's a whole nother world. There was an entire industry that was out there that I wanted to be a part of. And it was that day at the Tiny House Festival that I decided I'm not going to pursue the commercial cleaning industry as a way for me to do the things that I want. I want to do something that I'm really passionate about. But I didn't know what that was. So I kind of went on a soul-searching mission for a while and really started asking myself, what was it that I wanted to do with the rest of my life? I've realized that you should think about it in shorter increments, 3 to 5 years, because you really never know what's going to happen outside of that. I found this Japanese concept, and I don't remember the actual name of it, but basically the idea is that you're in a really great spot if you can find something that matches these 3 criteria. The first one is that you really love doing this thing. You have a real passion for it. You enjoy it. The second thing is that you're naturally talented at it. These aren't things that you have to force yourself to really learn, but they just come naturally. Then the third thing is that it provides value to the world. And when you provide value to the world, you usually provide value for yourself. This basically means you can make a living from it. And I figured out that I have a passion for the outdoors and building cool stuff. But that was really where I left off on that video. I didn't know exactly how that was going to translate into making a living and exactly what I was going to do next. Now I have a much better idea. Being on the road for a full year now has reinforced a lot of the things that I knew deep down about myself. I love the outdoors. I'm more of an introvert. I like being by myself a decent amount, but I also like people. I like building things. I like vehicles. I like homes. I like tiny spaces, off-grid, sustainability, all of that type of stuff. But then I found some things that I had no idea that I was passionate about or even decent at. I started filming. I started making videos. I started editing. And you guys can tell me if I'm good at this or not, but I've started to find a passion for this stuff. Based off of the comments and messages that I've got, it's been able to make a difference in people's lives. And that is honestly what has kept me so motivated to keep going with this. Anyway, this year on the road has been a time of identifying what I really want. I'm happy to announce, I think I found it. This YouTube channel is the start of it because it can take me in so many different directions. This channel's pretty new, so how is this going to change anything on the channel? What type of content's coming up? Well, a couple things. First of all, I'm really happy to announce that we hit 10,000 subscribers, so thank you all for that. Super psyched. And the second thing is that I'm happy to say I'm making a full-time income on here. I'm able to put away several $100s a month, and I'm getting ready to reinvest into the channel. I will say this isn't a huge feat because last month I spent $600 in expenses, which is ridiculously low even for me. And right now I'm making about $1,300 to $1,500 a month, which is really not much in the grand scheme of things. But it's enough for me to focus my time into pursuing this full time. And I don't mind being super transparent on this. I've made that money through Patreon, which is really people that are just supporting the content that I'm making, through YouTube AdSense. There's some other stuff, but it's not much. Big shout out to my Patreon members, because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much. But anyway, I figured out exactly what I want this channel to be as of right now. I have a direction to head. This channel is going to be about 3 main topics. The first one is just going to be adventure. You guys have been watching the Colorado to Utah series. I would consider that adventure content. It's the stuff that's actually happening. It's overlanding in action. It's the stories that happen out here. It's the exploration. It's all of that. But that's not all that this channel is going to be about. I've realized what my mission is for this channel. I want to help other people get out and explore and experience the things that I get to experience while still doing it on a budget, while having a DIY aspect to it, and doing this while also supporting conservation and responsible recreation. And we'll get to more of that in a second. Well, the next one is going to be about building rigs. So I loved building this thing. I haven't shared much detail on it yet, and that's kind of been on purpose. So the next thing that we're really going to focus on this channel is the actual rigs themselves and building rigs on a budget. It's one thing I haven't talked a whole lot about. I haven't done a rig tour yet. I haven't gone in and really talked about systems and how everything's put together on this ambulance, but that's what I want to do. After the Colorado to Utah series, we're going to be doing a series on this ambulance, doing a full tour, how I did everything from choosing the platform to the demo to the way I set up the sliding table in here and workspace and building the roof rack, everything that you could think about with that. But after those videos, we're going to be diving into something that's way cooler. I didn't film the process of building this rig, but I am going to film the process of building the next one. That's right. I'm going to be filming the process of building another ambulance on this channel. That's going to be a really fun series. I'm actually going to be doing everything from finding the vehicle to demoing it and, everything that goes into the planning process, all of that. It'll be a full series, so look forward to that. The third thing is a little bit of the psychological side. I know for myself, there was a lot of psychological barriers that prevented me from living this lifestyle. I had a lot of outside pressures. I had, expectations, social norms. I had a lot of big questions in my head about how was I going to do this financially. I'll put it this way. I had wanted to do this for a long time. It's not the lifestyle everyone wants, but it's the lifestyle I wanted, and it's the best decision that I ever made. And I didn't make it for years, even though I knew I needed a change and I wasn't living the lifestyle that I really wanted to live. It's hard to make massive changes in your life. So I also want to talk about that a little bit. And that's the direction that this channel's headed, but there is a few things that I need to mention here. I'm really happy to announce that we have some sponsors that are coming on this channel, and sponsors that I really believe in. I've been super wary about doing any type of sponsorships or brand deals just because there's so many companies that have reached out to me that have BS products, and I'm not going to support any of that type of stuff. It seems to me like the way this internet marketing world is set up is that companies want to use other people's credibility to sell their BS products. I'm not going to be a part of that. But on the flip side, there are very legitimate companies that I believe in and that I support, that, I bought their products before they ever reached out to me. That's how I'm able to grow this channel. That's how I'm able to support it. I recently found out that the vast majority of creators that don't have their own business, their income comes from sponsorships and brand deals. So there is going to be some sponsored content that's coming up here in the future. I will make sure to mention it, and I'm always going to give you my honest opinion on it. If there's anything that I don't agree with, or if they're saying that I can't say something that, I want to say, then you know what, I'm just going to turn it down, because I have a responsibility to you guys to tell you the truth about these products and what I actually think about. And besides sponsorships and Patreon, well, those two things are never really what I wanted to be the bread and butter of this thing long term. I think you guys already know that I'm a little bit more business minded, and I want to find a way to create a legitimate business out of this YouTube channel. So what I decided is that I want to help other people build their own rigs. I've seen so many people that have spent so much time and money trying to do it themselves, build their own rigs. And if they had just sat down and consulted with someone for 3 or 4 hours, found their ideal platform, found exactly how they're going to use it, what's a reasonable thing to have and what's not, figuring out your budget, putting a materials list together, putting an estimate together, these types of things, this is where I'd want to help people. And it's something that I can do pretty much now. So if you're building a rig and you want some outside opinions and you want to put a materials list together, you want to find your ideal platform, well, there's a contact form down in the description. I'll get a message and we'll reach out, and I'd be more than happy to help out with your build. But I'm also going to be super real with you right now. This is my first ambulance. There are things that I would change. There are things that I could have done better. So I don't want to come to you guys as an expert, because I'm not. I've been studying this stuff since I was 16, but this is my first build. So that's kind of why we're doing another build series, is because I want to show you exactly what's involved and everything that I would change. Here's the big thing. If I'm going to build another ambulance and do all that, well, I'm obviously not going to need this ambulance anymore. I love this thing. It has been an awesome first rig. I think that I did a decent job for my first build, but I'm excited to do another one. It also means that I need to sell this one. And I started thinking about it a little bit. I could sell this rig, right? Just put it up on Facebook Marketplace and find an actual buyer for it. Or what if I raffled the truck off? I like that idea so much better for the first reason that anyone can win an really awesome vehicle for full-time living. It's just a matter of chance. But then the second thing is that I want to work with a charity on this. I want to work with a charity that supports conservation of our public lands, as well as usage and access rights, stuff like dispersed camping and protecting our off-road trails. You guys got to realize that, you can look into vans all day long, and then once you get out here, you realize there's all these land use issues. Trails are getting shut down. Dispersed camping sites are getting shut down. I want to see if raffling this rig can also help support a charity that helps keep our public lands open and also helps educate people that are going to be out doing dispersed camping and going out on trails to, well, keep them clean. What leave no trace actually means, how to be responsible with your campfires, with your trash, not going off the trail and starting your own. These are things that are going to keep our public lands open, and hopefully one day when I have kids, they'll also be able to do the stuff that I'm doing, because right now I don't know if we're on track for that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to raffle it yet, but I really like the idea of raffling it off and supporting a charity. Either way, this truck is going to have new owners by mid-2024. And if you guys are at all interested in becoming the next owners of this ambulance, well, there is a link down in the description where you can go ahead and sign up. And what that does is, if I sell it or if I raffle it, I'll send out an email to you guys as soon as this vehicle becomes available, so you don't miss out on the raffle, you don't miss out on when it comes for sale, any of that stuff. I've said this a few times before, that it's important to me that I can make some type of greater impact in the world. And I think that this would be a really awesome way to do it. So as much as I don't want to see this ambulance go, and I'm pretty emotionally attached to my home, and so is Ruger, this is a way that I can actually make an impact. And actually later today, I'm getting on the phone with the charity to talk to them about this. So I'm just super excited about all this. Now, there is a longer term plan that goes out into the next 2 to 3 years, but right now, I'm only going to tell you guys what comes up to about mid-2024. Who knows though, sometimes projects take way longer than you think, so maybe this will take us all the way through 2024. But guys, I can't thank you enough, because at the beginning of this year, I never would have imagined being on the path that I'm on today. I found something meaningful to me, and I don't think I can tell you just how exciting it is to wake up every morning feeling like you're on a mission. It's changed my life. And I really hope that I'm able to pay it forward through the content I make here, through being able to help other people live the dreams that they want to live, and just being able to contribute back to the world. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what really brings happiness. So thank you to everyone watching, thank you to my Patreon supporters, and thank you to my new sponsors. Guys, I hope you're just as excited as I am for the future of this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.